Thank you for tuning into the Buyer's Guide podcast, where we talk all things property and finance. My name is Peter Mastriani, the founder of the Buyer's Guide, which has been established to really help as many people as possible buy their first home through to building a property portfolio to secure their financial future. In today's cast, we discuss some of the more common debt management strategies. So let's get to it. Are you an aspiring financial superhero? To help you transition from anti hero, struggling to choose between financial right and wrong, to superhero possessing incredible courage to perform remarkable debt reducing feats, then maybe you should work in one, two, or more of these basic debt minimization strategies into the mix. There are four that we're going to discuss in today's podcast, with the first one being consolidation. Obtaining a debt consolidation loan will merge all of your existing loans and credit cards into a single loan. The larger the total amount, though, the harder it can be to consolidate. Credit card transfers can also be viewed from a consolidation perspective as well. The rates are attractive. They start from 0% on balance transfers up to 12 to 24 months. It's definitely tempting. And it can definitely be worthwhile if you can pay off the loan within the interest-free period. It's not worthwhile if you can't, and you'll end up accumulating more debt. So it's a bit of a honey trap, but definitely worthwhile considering if you feel that you can pay off the loan within that interest-free period. Now, as a bit of a side note, if a new loan has a lower interest rate than the interest on the highest rate loan that you actually have, then it's pretty likely you're going to save some money. What you really need to watch out for is the fees of establishing and exiting these loan arrangements, because this is where you could become unstuck. Fixed rate loans may also attract fees if you pay out the loan early. This is sometimes referred to as a repayment adjustment. Also, you might find that the repayment period has to be extended, which could result in lower installment payments, but it will take you longer to pay off. Again, costing more. So in short, do the maths. The second type of strategy is, aggressive. It's basic. It's cut it to the bones type strategy. So that means cutting out all your variable spending to an absolute minimum and just go hell for leather on putting as much extra money as you can into those debts. You move home with mum and dad, you sell your car and you walk, you get a second job or a third job, and you keep entertainment to an absolute minimum. And when you do go out, you ask your friends to buy you a beer or a meal or a movie ticket or whatever it may be. Now, this type of strategy is tough going and it can make you resentful. So perhaps just try it for a period of time and then have a spell by loosening the reins as a reward. Like a dry July, maybe try a cheapskate June, for example. Now, the third type of strategy that you could implement is setting goals. Goals force you to take direction and change your pattern of current behavior. The best goals are the ones that are achieved by continually focusing your attention on them. Don't make goals that are a reaction to circumstances or designed to get you away from things that you don't want. Create goals that are a realistic stretch, that force a bit of tension in your life. Make sure that they're clear, concise, and focused on creating your vision. A good goal should be something like, I will pay off my $7,000 in credit card debt within the next 6 months by contributing an additional $270 per week on top of my monthly minimum repayment. This is a good goal because it's clear, it's concise, and it's time specific. Paying off debt, saving for a deposit, getting that job promotion, etc. It isn't down to luck, it's down to your own efforts. Whatever action you take will result in an end result to match. Consistency is the key, or else you'll tend to swing between having things you want and not achieving anything. Focusing on consistency allows you to achieve your goals in perpetuity. Stick to itiveness, it's a favorite word of mine, in that you can create realistic goals, stick to them, the results are going to be achieved. So, for a bit of homework, write down three simple financial goals that you would like to achieve within your next 6 months. Remember, make them clear, make them concise, make them time specific. And lastly, put them into action. The last strategy that we're going to discuss is budgeting, the all important budget. Not many people have a concrete budget, let alone stick to it. But, it's a new year, so we're all trying to do good things. Best thing to do is create a new home budget. We've all tried to tackle it as well at one point or another. It may have worked, it may not have because perhaps it wasn't realistic. And I think that's, absolutely the key to getting on top of your debts and growing a nest egg. Like we had discussed previously, an aggressive strategy of paying down your debt can make you resentful. But look, if you cut back things in moderation, you can certainly work towards your goals and not be resentful during that time as well. And look, there's no better time than now to start. So, part two of your homework is to create a new budget. To commence, you're going to need one pen and two piece of paper. Start by doing a brain dump, is what I recommend. List all your income and all your expenses that immediately spring to mind. That morning coffee, the rent, the phone bills, social outings, hobbies, and everything else in between. We'll get into the detail a little later, but let's start off small. So make sure you come up with a pretty concise list. Now, when you look at that piece of paper, does it become alarming? If it is, that's okay. At least you've now identified what your actual expenditure is. The best thing about budgets is that you're completely in control and you can make direct decisions on what you want to cut, which is really the next part of the problem. Saving for a deposit or budgeting to pay off debts, doesn't mean that you cannot also have a lifestyle to suit. Cutting back a little and making some sacrifices may not be such a bad thing, especially when there's a long term reward associated. Now, I won't lecture you on what you should and shouldn't cut. It's your life and it's your choice. Everyone's personal circumstances and journey will be different, but we all face the same battle of keeping our household accounting and expenditures or our financial health in good check. And, at times it'll be in the red, and hopefully, more often than not, it'll be back in the black. So the decision time is when you decide on what you're going to cut. Hopefully that's not too ugly, but you need to answer the big question. Can it realistically be cut or scaled back, or are there a cheaper alternative? What you decide is up to you, but be realistic and don't cut it to the bones. Cutting back too far will just make you annoyed or even resentful and could ultimately steer you away from your desired course. Budgeting and planning are largely about control, being honest, and laying out your expenses. I always recommend that you overestimate as well. That way, you'll have a little extra money to play with. If you have no idea of what you're actually spending and what on, pull out your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever smartphone you have and download a free expenses monitoring app. If you don't have a smartphone, invest in a $2 notepad to record what you actually spend over a day, a week, a fortnight, or a month. The results can be a bit scary. When I first did it, I actually realized how undisciplined I was. I had an amazing lifestyle, but I lived month to month and I really had nothing to show for it. The devil is in the detail. So let's set it out as it stands today so you can get on top of your household's balance sheet. The important thing is to be honest with your figures. If you'd like to receive our debt reduction and detailed budget templates, please do get in touch by visiting our website www.thebuyersguide.com.au. And lastly, is there any other considerations that you can do apart from these four strategies? Could you sell something to pay off your debts? Could you downsize or reduce or perhaps go without? Could you get a part-time job? Do you do something little on the side that you could make some money from? Or do you have a creative flair or an artistic talent that you could monetize? Day to day working life can be stressful enough, but it's pretty likely that you could have some skills that people will want to pay for. There's lots of sites like Odesk or Freelancer or Fiverr.com. There are a lot of these sites out there and they could well be worth investigating. On these sites, people sell their skills and they take on jobs worldwide. Writers, artists, designers, programmers, editors, mathematicians, tutors, you name it, it's available. They all bid on different gigs and they're paid for their expertise. If you're worried about expertise, look, there's certainly a lot of services out there that people request. People will pay others to comment on their blog posts, to share their tweets, or to repost their Instagram pics. Trust me, there is a dollar out there to be made. So tweak, twerk, and twirl until you can find something that's going to be right for you. And if you want to test your financial fitness through your home buying journey, why don't you get in touch through the buyer's guide and book a strategy session and we'll work out how we can help you obtain your next property or that home of your dreams. Until our next cast, good luck, happy hunting, and bye for now.